Yeah, I mean that's the best I can, unless they're gonna do another HD remake, which my god, Paper Mario, Luigi's Mansion 2, Donkey Kong. They would have to they would have to do something like I think Yoshi's probably my best answer. Maybe
Woolly World remaster would be decent.
Oh, that'd be cool. Or
like that one's definitely a lot better than Crafted World.
Maybe something like a Wario game, not a WarioWare, like a Wario game kind
That'd
of
be nice. I think Wario is like a franchise is dead though.
Yeah, probably. But I'm just trying to think of AA franchises that they'd be able to make some money on, still get people somewhat excited about the Switch, and keep them interested. Nintendo, you could hire me. I would want you to make a Wario game because they're fun.
Like the last actual WarioWare game was Shake It on Wii, and that wasn't made by Nintendo.
You know what would drive people crazy in a good way? Mario Baseball. People love that game for the Cube and the Wii.
Could be cool. Too bad the new Mario sports games are so bad.
They're not made by Nintendo, right? They're
it depends on the franchise. Mario Strikers or the soccer one. Is that called Mario Strikers?
Which one?
The soccer one.
Oh, Strikers. Yeah.
That's made by Level Up, who do the Luigi's Mansion games. Huh. And surprisingly, that game was bad.
Does Nintendo even have any non-second party studios? Like, what do they make that's only that Mario and Zelda?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's Nintendo EAD or something like that.
It's just crazy how many games get outsourced by them that I thought was honestly all made by Nintendo first-party EAD.
I think they have a lot of good second-party studios.
That's true.
It's unfortunate that Mario Strikers Battle League was really bare bones and kind of weird. I don't know if that one was rushed or something, but that was definitely during the period where a lot of Switch games were coming out and they were not worth $60 at all. And then they would have extensive seasonal updates that are quote unquote free, but they should have been there in the first place. Even Nintendo Switch Sports was so bare bones. And they did that with Mario Golf and Mario Strikers and some other ones. And it was just a weird period for Nintendo. I was actually, I don't know. I wasn't worried. I was just what is going on?
You know what would literally get them through the entire spring and summer? All right, April 2nd they come out. They say Switch 2 coming out November 15th. Whatever, I don't know the exact November 15th, right? All right. But in the meantime, check this out. And this would cause them literally zero work. Switch port, Wind Waker HD. Boom. May, June. Then maybe one other small thing. A Yoshi game. That gets them the whole way through to November, in my opinion.
I think a Woolly World HD port would also, or Switch port would also
be
fine.
There you go. Woolly World and Wind Waker. Literally... it would still sell so many. Wind Waker would be one of those games I would honestly have to order nearing 100 copies of for the first couple weeks. And they could just
the last lot of years, I never noticed this until I think I watched a Scott the Woz snippet about this, but they've been releasing a new Zelda product every single year. Whether it's a HD remaster or a new game, but if you look at it, it's almost every year they release something new.
Interesting.
So they got to do something for 2025. Although I've seen some rumors about them releasing a Tears of the Kingdom director's cut for Switch 2. I hope that doesn't happen.
That seems pretty lame.
I'm just hoping that Switch 1 games just run better on Switch. Please God, don't make it a paid re-release. That is so scummy, but also it's Nintendo. I don't know.
Yeah.
They treat their HD remasters like gold.
I'm telling them right now, don't do a single thing. Take the Wii U version of Wind Waker. Just port it to the Switch. Just change the stupid tablet controls. And guess what? $60. People will buy it. There you go. Hire me, Nintendo. Hire me right now.
Alright, times for everyone's favorite and weirdest reoccurring Metroid boss. And by favorite, I mean no one's.
Kraid?
Kraid. This is such a weird boss to, like, return in, like, so many Metroid games. I think he's in Metroid 1, Super Metroid. Those two make sense because it's the same planet. I guess Samus didn't kill him the first time. But what's he doing in this planet? I mean, it looks like he's imprisoned. I guess, the main villain is called Ravenbeak. I guess Ravenbeak just went to Zebes and just captured him and imprisoned him. I don't know, I guess. Or I guess it's her, because it's like kind of like a mom. I don't know. Maybe it's a guy.
Interesting. Kraid essentially looks like me.
That's not good. Give me energy.
Kraid, no! It's over.
I like his name, Craig. Craig is a funny name.
I don't know why I thought it was like Kraig or whatever.
I'm pretty sure it's ending with a D, but I like the name. I like the name Craig.
For this huge monster. Or alien, I guess.
I'm Craig.
What's up, Craig? Gotta shoot that belly. I think they like it because most things in most bosses in Metroid are like the size-ish of Samus, and Kraid is so huge.
I'm getting out of here.
I know Kraid was like trying to like go after you, but also he/she is literally
First
like
try.
tethered.
Yeah, I kind of feel like this is his most pathetic appearance.
Like, yes, it is acting towards you and trying to kill you and stuff. Oh my god.
Samus is like badass.
That's what, the second or third time in this game they had her be like, huh.
They do it a lot. Although they do have Samus jobbing a lot in this game. It's a interesting dichotomy.
And I assume Kraid, since he was halfway in the lava, that it can survive in the lava, therefore it is not dead.
It's probably just come back. So we're getting another beam upgrade. I think of the first 6 upgrades, 3 of them are beams, which is just weird. This was introduced in the Metroid 2 remake on 3DS. It like creates like little like bombs when you do like a thing. So it lets you I have to throw. It lets you like shoot things through the wall sometimes. It's marginally stronger too. Not like a huge like game-breaking upgrade though. Another zone! Are you noticing how often this happens? I know it's like a minor nitpick, but it really makes the game feel like super segmented, especially when the loading, like when we first started, Spencer was like, why does this game take so long to load? It's like, yeah, loading times are like 30, 45 seconds.
It's literally on like an SD card. Why is there loading at all? I don't... Hold on? For what? Literally,
yeah, I mean,
though, like, this is really long for Switch.
It is one of the longest that I can think of in any Switch game. Or at least first-party games. And it's just weird that they decided to have so many zone transitions when the loading screens are so long. Boy.
Nope. No! That's probably my favorite thing they added to the game is the, was that the first time in this game? The,
Metroid 2
counters?
Introduced it. I talked about it a bit the first
that's right.
setting, but this game, it's way better, because it's like, it's less like a thing that you constantly have to do, and more like a thing that they reward you for doing.
Biological research laboratory. You are slowly recovering your abilities. I have still not established.
This is completely off topic. Do you know if Suikoden is one of those games like Fire Emblem where if your character dies, they die for real?
I don't remember. I played the first game.
Yeah.
I think I got close to beating it, but I never got.
I kind of want to play that when it comes out on the remasters, but I am not even going to touch it if that's the way it goes. I'm pretty sure Valkyrie Profile's that way as well, right? If a character dies, they die.
Valkyrie Profile is really weird. It doesn't have permadeath, but it does have a system where basically the conceit of the game is that you're a messenger of Odin, and you have to appease Odin at times, which includes sending human spirits to like where Odin is to become soldiers for his army. So that means you have to get rid of like guys and that you have.
Interesting. So you're like constantly switching between different
There we go. It's so strict.
So you're constantly switching between different party members,
You
I guess?
can, I mean, as long as you are not dumb and you record... the game is very segmented in terms of, like, you have, like, 8 phases where it usually, like, has, like, 3 or 4 guys that you can recruit every phase. So there's a lot of characters. It's like Saga Frontier in that way.
Yeah.
Alright, where am I going? Just over here.
Because that's a series that always interested me, but I honestly don't feel like...
After playing... I posted updates about me playing Valkyrie Profile for the first time. Very weird game. I would not recommend it to anyone.
Rip.
I liked it in some ways, but it is like a genuinely bad game in some other ways.
It's weird how that became like a very sought after and very expensive game, and like mostly because people like it. Like, I don't think it's like ridiculously rare.
I don't know. I guess it does have things going for it. First of all, the art, like the graphics and the art design and the character portraits and the music is really good. I will definitely say that it's one of the best looking PS1 games. But in terms of gameplay, the one thing I didn't realize about the game is that it's made by Tri-Ace, who makes the Star Ocean games. And I like the Star Ocean games, but the one thing I will not say that they are is, like, polished. And, yeah, Valkyrie Profile is a very janky game. It has very weird, awful platforming. And...
Oh, I thought it was just a turn-based RPG.
It's like a 2D side-scroller platformer, and then when you touch enemies, it turns into an RPG.
Okay.
But it has very janky 2D platforming.
Do you know what the most underrated action RPG is of all time? Threads of Fate for PS1. That game, pretty damn good, and I never hear anyone talking
Yeah, I
about
remember watching you play that when you bought it at, like, JPP.
it. Yeah, probably, literally.
Like 15 years ago.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I don't have...
It's kind of like if Brave Fencer Musashi was a little more streamlined.
Nice.
Oh. I do like this new trend of all these old JRPGs being remastered for the PS5 and Switch. I think that's pretty cool.
Oh, yeah, the bomb's up here. Man, I did this segment today, but, like... This game, Spencer mentioned it at the first part, but like this game has a lot of mechanical areas that are just not memorable at all.
I have such a hard time in games where it's like a laboratory or like mechanical or whatever.
Especially the Emmy zones are all that like drab mechanical like white aesthetic. It's very clinical and soulless.
Yeah.
That's why I'm not a huge fan of the Emmy zones or how they're done in this game.
I know Super Metroid did it first, but one of the main reasons I prefer Castlevania in the Metroidvania style is the castle is just so perfect in general for having all these different unique zones and everything, you know? you have the courtyard, and you have the library, and the food place, and whatever. Whereas, usually Metroid's like, hey, you're on this alien planet with a bunch of life forms. Okay, that's pretty cool. Okay, now this other place is, you know, an abandoned mining colony, like a Callisto Protocol kind of thing. And you're like, yeah, it totally makes sense in terms of, like, in-game, in-world stuff, but it's not as interesting as being like, hey, there's this huge castle owned by this 1,000-year-old vampire, and everything's decadent and crazy, and it's awesome. You know, it's like, the setting isn't quite as good.
Yeah, I like the settings of Castlevania a lot. I also like them in Metroid, but sometimes some games, like especially this game,
this is cool. This is much more unique.
Yeah, they can be a little bit too simple. But in terms of gameplay, I think they're just so different. It's hard to compare them. Even though everyone likes to call them Metroidvanias, it's like Castlevania is almost entirely combat with very minimal. Like, it has permanent upgrades and like stuff like that, but it's mostly just like leveling up and combat and like the RPG aspect of it, where like Metroid is like 50% combat and 50% exploration and power-ups.
That's true. You know what, I think it's a developer, I don't think it's a publisher, that I'm like ridiculously impressed with the amount of things they can make, is that Studio Game Mill. Have you ever seen that studio?
You mean modern day THQ?
Dude, they're literally modern day Wait, are they actually like...
No.
Oh, okay.
But it's like they're just a licensed slop factory.
They're like,
I don't know why they're impressed with it. They just...
No. I'm impressed because they're able to come out with so many games in an era where games take 1 billion years to... Like, I didn't realize it, but there are games I've never heard of that I'll, like... They'll come in and it'll be like there was this like NASCAR game, like NASCAR Arcade or whatever, and I was like, oh, who made this crap? And there it is, Game Mill. And then you're like,
they probably just make games cheaply.
They have
as
3
possible.
Nickelodeon kart racing games, all Game Mill. Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl, Game Mill.
Especially when they're like getting licenses like NASCAR and Nickelodeon, which probably ask for a ton of money for that. Those games are probably churned out on like a $5 budget.
Oh, it's probably ridiculous. But yeah, I'm just... And they also made that infamous... I don't know what it's called, but you know that game where you play as King Kong, and there's like... Or not, it's not King Kong, but like as a giant ape?
Yeah, that awful one.
And they made that too!
Wasn't it a King Kong game? I thought it was actually...
You know what, I think it is King Kong. And there's like other King Kongs. And the best part about it is there's like... a whole bunch of different, no one can figure out how big King Kong is because he's, like, as big as the trees, and you're like, are these trees really small, or is King Kong really big? What is going on here? I just love stuff like that.
Know what I love? The classic going through the water area without the...
Well, to be fair, Castlevania does that more than anything else.
Yeah, but without the gravity suit, it's just so annoying.
Oh, speaking of Castlevania, there's a new on Netflix season of the second Castlevania anime, Castlevania Nocturne, Season 2. It stars Richter, who is... Trevor Belmont's ancestor. Wait, I said that wrong. Richter is younger than Trevor Belmont. And also, Julius Belmont's in it too, which is pretty cool. It wasn't bad. I prefer the original Castlevania.
I never even watched a single episode
anime.
of the
It's good.
one.
The original one's really good. The reason I prefer the original Castlevania is Dracula's in it, whereas Nocturne Dracula is not in it for reasons. But they do a really good job of making Dracula like kind of like the version he was like early in like Symphony of the Night, where he's like does not want to be bad, but they kill his wife and he's like, okay, I hate humans now. You know, because that's like the whole thing is like his wife, that Alucard is, you know, half human. So he's like, I don't love humans, but I love my wife, so it's fine. And then they're like, we humans are killing your wife. And he's like, okay, well, I'm going to kill all humans. Thanks.
Yeah, they even show that in, like, the cinema.
Yeah, I thought they did. But he's a really good character in that anime. Do you get a suit eventually that makes you move at normal speed?
Yeah, the gravity suit, but we don't get it for a long time.
No.
The gravity suit is always, like, something you get, like, I would say, like, 2/3 through the game in every Metroid. Because it also reduces damage. And makes you immune to lava, for some reason. But yeah, they always have this in every single game, but, like, the worst area is just trudging through the water zone without the gravity suit. It always sucks.
Well, at least you can breathe underneath it. It's not like it's like timed or anything like that.
That is true. If it was Sonic, that would just make this infinitely worse.
God. I can't wait to fight Emerald Weapon in FF7 Reunion.
Can't wait for 4 more years.
No. Can't wait to get that underwater materia. Could you imagine, like, if they gave you a 20... Like, some of those bosses are so damn long that if they were like, gotta beat in 20 minutes, you'd be like, well, rip. Hey, that could be a trophy. Beat Emerald Weapon in under 20 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess they are just gonna make them super bosses. I don't know. Flash Shift is a pretty cool ability. It's definitely... We're getting to the point where the abilities are, like, very, like... If you're good with them, it makes you look awesome, but I'm not good with any of them.
It's so Jover.
Again, a knee tank immediately in your way. All you have to do is the new ability you just got 5 seconds ago. Just use it once.
I do like that enemy you just fought a second ago.
It's basically like the equivalent of like a sunfish, like just a stupid piece of crap that just floats there.
Pretty much. But it reminds me of like a deep sea version of that. Remember when director James Cameron got obsessed for like 20 years with underwater stuff? And instead of making good movies, he was like, no. And
definitely does help that his stupid underwater pet project ended up being the #1 grossing food of all time.
Literally.
I think he is sitting pretty on his $3 billion.
Yeah. I mean, I gotta be honest, if I
was also amazed at Avatar 2. I thought Avatar 2, I don't think it was going to be a flop, but I thought it was going to like pull in like 30%.
It's literally like India and China. It's like those two countries.
But like it still made like over $2 billion. Like how? It took like 12 years.
I honestly did not know a single person that saw it. And I know people saw it in America, don't get me wrong, but it is all about the international. Again, China, India.
I guess China loves underwater blue sea creatures.
Yeah,
it's weird.
It is a little odd.
But I guess they do have.
And there's still 3 more to come out.
They have like 1.5 billion people in that country or whatever.
Yeah, I mean that's why many companies, notably Disney, bends the knee to China, and is like, sorry, China.
I just can't believe that people still defend Disney when they